Secrets to handle objections. Stay in communication and be willing to ask hard questions. Like read this again, and then read this again. If you're not willing to ask hard questions, you're never going to get into a real conversation with the person because you're too busy pussyfooting, trying to be nice to them, and you're not going to get what you need, which is the ingredients of like a real conversation to be able to close them. This takes time. Once again, it's not going to happen overnight. If you're not doing it or nobody in your family's doing it and nobody you're around speaks like this, it's going to be hard to do it by yourself. This is why you got to give yourself permission to be great. Have accountability. Have a community. Be around other people doing it. If your 5 friends don't do it, back in the day, I knew I had to stop hanging out with one of my best friends because he was always negative and skeptical. Anytime I wanted to talk about a big idea, he's like, oh, dude, you care about people? Well, I knew I had to get away from him, and I stopped hanging out with him. He's still my friend. To this day, I don't see him that often, but I knew I had to get away from him. Same thing, friends and family. Sometimes you shouldn't be sharing shit with your friends and family because they don't support you. They don't see it yet. So you need to be around the right people that do see you differently. That's why I love strangers. I love strangers because they give you a chance to be something different versus all those past stories of who you used to be. Hard questions. Why haven't you done this already? Have you ever done something like this before? You're finding out their decision making. When's the last time you sold a house for sale by owner? Oh, you haven't? Wow. You're in for something. What's your real concern? If I resolve all your concerns, would you make a decision to buy? So once again, if I took care of A, B, C, and D, and E, anyways, would you be willing to make a decision right now? If I handle everything, are you in a position to make the decision? So if I took care of all that stuff, do you have the wherewithal, which means the finances or whatever, to get this accomplished? Other than yourself, who needs to be involved? Are you the only decision maker? No? Okay, well, this is a probate. No, there's 6 other people that need to make a decision? Okay, do you want that deal? It's a hot mess. Now we're talking about a hot mess is with the probate thing, and the thing I guess I want you guys to understand is you have the right to say yes or no to anything. You don't have to take every client on. If you decide to get into a deal where you're doing the probate and there's 20 different people, you could probably get 20 different listings in the same time, having to deal with the headache of trying to herd 20 people. That might be like 20 cats, depending on if they're all different. Which then, like the question I would add, so how can you justify investing this much money? That's a good hard question. And even if I were to sell your house and I got your house sold, what are you going to do with that money? Because this is an investment property. You're going to get hit with taxes. Don't just say, hey, I'm going to sell you this property. Fact find, serve, help that person. The better you get at problem solving, the easier your life becomes. Once you learn how to handle objections and ask the right questions, you will never have a bad day on the phone. Because if you know that you're leaning towards follow-up and you're always getting new potential buyers, all you have to do is never stop and your life will be amazing. When I used to call consistently and Johnny used to ask me, share my wins, I have so many damn wins, I can't share them. And I just go to bed every day and it's just like, oh my God. Well, all these things popped up. And that should be your goal. Your goal should be thriving in whatever you're doing. The most dangerous objection, the unspoken. So this is, once again, this thing will always be followed by asking hard questions. And if you're not the type of person yet that doesn't like probing or asking hard questions, I would challenge you, hey, come join our community if you're not already in it, and we will support you by role-playing through all this stuff. Because for me saying, tell me more, I used to not like to be that person, and now it's just very natural in what I do, and it's such a powerful question, but I didn't even like saying, tell me more. Tell me more about that. Bonus, I said it earlier, but the best way to handle an objection when you're calling people, I might have an agent, is, okay, great. Can you tell me more about that? Who is this agent? Because you start shitting on them and it's a sister of somebody. And then once again, like I said, and the way I handle that objection would be, okay, great. Can you tell me more? Do you have a blood pact? I always say that as a joke. Do you have a blood pact with this agent? No? Okay, great. So don't you owe it to yourself to have a second opinion in the best service? And then they'll say, yeah. Okay, so regardless, I would love to meet with you at 7 p.m., show you this information. If you want to stay with your sister, brother, whatever, that's fantastic. At least you'll have more information. But here's the thing. Sometimes people decide to hire their friends, family, or whatever to do themselves a favor for their friends, and they lose that friend or family member forever because they mess up, or they're helping them because they're an amateur, whatever that looks like. The good thing about working with me is, if you were to work with me, I put into my contracts, you can cancel at any point in time. So even if you decide to cancel in 2 weeks, because you're like, oh my God, what have I done? Blah, 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 blah. I will give you that out, but it's never happened to me in the 7 years I've done real estate. And you say whatever your years are, because I want the best for you. And they will feel that if you're speaking that way.